Welcome back. It is a new year. Maybe you have goals you'd like to meet in your relationships, like being a better listener. David Flowers with David Flowers Couples Teletherapy and Davison here this morning to help us do just that. You know, we've talked about listening before, but why is it such an important topic? And it's my understanding you have a startling statistic to share with us.
Oh, the statistic.
This morning. But first off, why is it so important?
Well, it's important because of the statistic, right?
Okay. Are you going to lay it on us?
Yeah, because 69% of all arguments in relationships are unsolvable.
Okay, that's a little controversial to me. But explain to me, because that's a high percentage.
It's very high. So it's just, the idea is that, if the majority of conflicts were like, hey, I think it's 75 degrees in here, versus the other person like, oh, I think it's 71 degrees, and you get up, you walk to the thermostat, and you're like, oh, I'm right and you're wrong, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's how things would be solvable if they were matters of objective fact. But 69% of the disagreements couples have aren't like that. They're her background, her experience, her way of looking at the world, her wiring, her temperament versus his. Think of it almost like politics in a way.
So when you say it's unsolvable, is that different than being manageable?
Oh, that's a great question, right? Because that's really what listening is all about. When we're talking about communicating in relationships, it's really like, how do you properly manage the conflict that's popping up, given the fact that you can't solve almost 70% of those problems?
Where'd you get that number? Oh my goodness, I'm just blown away.
I know, it's that pesky data and research.
I'm blown away by that. So you say then, don't take your partner's feelings personally. What do you mean by that?
All right, so, you have different food tastes, right? Like you like certain things and your partner doesn't like everything that you like, and vice versa. But we don't judge each other for it, typically. I can't believe you don't like pepperoni. Well, why do you not like it? Well, demand reasons and all of that. We just kind of take for granted, like people are wired differently, right? And you can really think about our feelings and perspectives in a very similar way, right? They're just subjective experiences that each individual person is having.
Well,
right?
With that said then, because you gave like a food analogy, but when you say don't take their feelings personally, but sometimes it involves you.
I know
So talk about that. You say when you have discussions or, stay on topic, right? Can you talk about that? You have that as a point.
Yeah, well, that is the hard part. That is the difference between simply, your partner's, feelings towards certain foods versus their feelings about, that phone call that you might have made where you accepted an obligation for Friday night. Maybe somebody called you and you said, yeah, let's go do something. You didn't talk to your partner about it, right? Now they have feelings about that, and like you said, it involves you. So what do you do with that is the question, right?
Yeah, what is the best way to learn how someone is feeling?
Yes, so the answer to that question is the way we learn anything, right? Which is incredible. People don't think about this, but how do we learn anything? We go into it with a curiosity, right? We ask questions is one of the main things. So if your partner says, hey, intentionality, yeah. I felt bad that, you accepted that invitation and you didn't ask me about it first. Oh, really? What was the first thing that popped into your head when you heard me say yes? Right? Just trying to express interest. Taking notes. I know it sounds crazy, but people don't think about this, but taking notes even. Like, you know what? Let me make sure that I'm getting this. Summarizing. Oh, so I'm hearing you say such and such, right? This is what I'm understanding. Is this what you're trying to say?
Yeah, so
right?
finally, you say here, find a way to validate. Does that play into that?
Validation is huge. That's the ultimate goal of this whole process that we're talking about, is getting to a point where you can say to your partner, hey, I'm not really sure that I completely necessarily agree with everything that you're saying, but it makes sense on some level.
And I respect your feelings.
Exactly, yes, precisely.
Yeah, even if you do like stinky fish or something. I get your stuff. Exactly. All right, there's information on your screen for David Flowers Couples Teletherapy. Again, helping us in this new year to become better listeners. I appreciate your insight, as always.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Good.